Alright, back at the Frezat Castle. I think I'll actually split it off here. So, this is episode 94, I believe? It might be the last episode. This is probably like the epilogue. So, who knows? Today's meeting was rather fury. Well, damn, I can't fucking pronounce that. Indeed, after all, it was regarding our plan for Frezite to coexist with the ground. Even now, there are still quite a number of executives who only speak of ruling the ground and refuse to listen to us. I am appalled by their behavior, really. The thing is, the three major cities of the ground were all destroyed during the incident involving Seraphic Blue. And since the ground is notably still in disarray, this ought to be an opportunity for us to truly establish bilateral ties with the ground. Or bilateral. I don't know how to pronounce that, actually. But do you think those executives would suggest things like taking over the ground while it is at its weakest? I wonder just how dense it can get. I have an idea. How about having every executive of the Internal Affairs Office undergo regular brain scans from now on? Psychiatrists from the internal companies will be hired to perform those scans. Are you serious? Of course not. I was just joking. It is obvious that that kind of action would only be resorting to force to get our own way, which will make us no different from those executives. Well, I am hoping to at least avoid listening to thoughtless ideas, but I suppose that cannot be helped. Phew. That was a relief to hear. As the Queen, every decision you make and every action that you take count. The last thing everyone wants is for another internal rebellion to occur. You certainly are very diligent as always, Gerald. Oh no, I do not deserve such praise. Seeing how devoted you are in handling daily government affairs, my diligence is perhaps nothing compared to you. That being said, Queen Minerva, you appear to be working a little too hard lately. I am worried that your health will decline at this rate. Do you still remember Lancerd? That's Master Swordsman? Yes, he said this to me. The conviction of Kane and his parents were just as strong as ours. They risked their lives in following their conviction, just like we risked our lives in following ours. In the end, we defeated them and have since lived to this day. Thus, we should live our lives to the fullest. If not, it would only be the greatest insult to them and their ideals. They strongly believe in nihilism, and I could not find an effective counter-argument to that. Eventually, we were forced to take them down in order to retain existence. As such, I have to show them that life is truly worth living. Indeed, I highly agree with that spirit of yours. But still, you appear to be pushing it a little too far. I will be fine. I know my own limits and will be mindful of when I need to rest. Daisy even told me before that no matter how capable I am at doing something, it would amount to nothing if I cannot even manage my own health. I suppose you have a point there. Yes? Pardon me, but can I ask a personal question? Go ahead. Why didn't you wear a formal dress for today's meeting? Oh, well, I would say this clothing is a source of motivation for me. A source of motivation? I, of course, did not forget the standard dress code, but the thing is, whenever I wear this, I feel all fired up to overcome any challenges. It is the same zeal that I had when I fought alongside the others for the fate of Gaia, and went all the way without fail. Time flies, doesn't it? Yes, it has been 2 years since that battle. 2-year time gap, huh? Wonder if we'll see how everyone is doing. Well, of course. Daisy Mason. What's going on with her? Gerald Alencon. Daisy is still my personal advisor. However, she is no longer the acting queen of Frezite, due to the fact that I officially began taking part in politics half a year ago. Let me lower the volume a little bit. Well, that is only on the surface. In truth, since I still do not know a lot about things, I virtually am unable to do anything without her help. So, for the time being, she still goes to great lengths to guide me along. Okay, let me increase it a little bit. That's a little bit too much. I lowered it. The CMGC and the CMGC arms served their purpose after the eradication of all Gaia cancers. The former was dissolved, and the latter was reformed and became the Frezite Army Corps, a unit in charge of a small-scale operation worldwide. And Gerald was the commander of that unit. He put up an impressive performance in leading his men during the battle with the LAJ 2 years ago. As a result, he was promoted to the position of commander. Even Owen was strongly recommended him for the position. However, he tends to be too serious with things, and apparently never fails to worry every day. Even then, though, that personality of his has earned him the widespread respect among his subordinates. What about his love for apples? Owen Baltic. After the CMGC was dissolved, the arrangements were made for its chairman, Owen, to take up a new position in the Internal Affairs Office. However, he turned that down and resigned. Explained that his health was not in good condition due to his old wounds, and hence would like to spend his days recuperating himself. He also said that this would be a good opportunity to break away from the executives who always talked about ruling the ground. However, he is apparently still worried about the state of the government after all. Even today, he still requests to personally see how Gerald and the rest are doing once a week. I personally feel he ought to have stayed since he is so concerned about the government, but, well, I suppose I should respect his decision. Donald Hostin. Marget Montelemire. Hopefully I pronounced that right. 1 month after the Battle of the Fate of Gaia, I received a piece of bad news. The bodies of Donald and Marget were discovered in Marget's Haven of Dreams at the Chaos of Envy. Investigations by the local authorities showed that they were not murdered, but committed suicide by poison. In addition, they left behind a suicide note. It stated their apology and regret for the many things that they used as sacrifices for the great cause of saving Gaia. Donald and Marget were well versed in chemicals, and Marget, being the goddess of chaos, had several connections in the underworld of chaos. Having said that, they could have sought a painless death. But instead, they choose to obtain extremely rare and lethal poison through connections in the underworld and killed themselves with it. In fact, their suicide note even mentioned that they did not want a painless death, as it would go against their atonement for their sins. I wonder why Donald and Marget, who did not have many years left to live at any rate, choose to end their lives in a cruel manner. Even though they have gone off the path of humanity at times and had ruined a number of lives of people, they still greatly contributed to saving Gaia in the end. The sacrifices made were not for naught. I can only pray from the bottom of my heart that Donald and Marget will reunite with Benedicta and Catherine and find peace with them. By the time I rush toward Marget's Haven of Dreams and reach there, The authorities had already completed their investigations. Margot's apparent successors had also begun rearranging the equipments in the building. Foxy was there as well. She was surprisingly calm. It would seem that she had already sensed some time ago that something bad was about to happen to Margot. Furthermore, she said that news of a person's death at Chaos tends to spread fast. However, something utterly disturbing was uncovered from the innermost room of the building. That room contained numerous frozen bodies, as well as frozen reddish-brown liquid. And there was something labeled Elizabeth with a note stuck onto it. The note read, "This is a small portion of one of your ovaries, which I have preserved here. You can do anything you like with it, be it boiling it or grilling it." That was when Foxy broke down and cried loudly. It was the first and last time I got to see her vulnerable side with my own eyes. Abram. Abram was imprisoned in the castle's underground prison for illegally purchasing lucifers from Morgan, and he had remained there until a year ago. On a certain day back then, what seemed to be a normal day in prison initially turned chaotic when Abram suddenly went crazy. He shouted unfathomable words before knocking his head against the wall multiple times. As the prison guards opened the cell door and held him down, Abram went into a state of shock upon noticing that his forehead was bleeding profusely. Paramedics soon arrived at the scene and tried to resuscitate him, but were unsuccessful as he was pronounced dead on the spot. Abram, a crafty swindler who used the Chaos Salvation Association as a covert to cheat money out of bereaved parents. Well, that is what appears to be the case on the surface. On the other hand, no one is certain whether he also used the DLG Law Benevolent Support Group as a cover. In fact, Abram's ideology was generally similar to that of the Kirsch family, even though there were quite a number of notable differences. He did not have the belief that the present world is never free from hatred and despair, and that the only form of salvation is nilfity. Although he had a mysterious background, the fact that he was a former member of the DLG Law Support Group clearly shows that he was a bereaved parent. Perhaps it was not that he desired money, but that he needed it. He sought money in order to fill the void in his heart. Yes, he could say that the money is the root of all evil. His craving for money got the better of him as it lured him into taking a forbidden path. That is what I think of him. Consequently, an audio recording device set up near his prison cell had recorded Abram's occasional monologues. Yes, those include his final monologue before his death. Upon analyzing that unfathomable and preposterous monologue of his, it was found that a person's name was mentioned. That was some time before Abram joined the DLG Law Support Group, and investigations on that name revealed it was a name of a boy who died of the Lucifer mutation symptom. That raises the question whether or not that boy was his son, which no one knows of yet, as of yet. Langer Hals, the doctor, the quack doctor. Langer was once called the quack doctor by those around him, and was a dispirited man who turned to money as his way of escape. Later, however, he made an accomplishment by saving the life of Elena, who was seriously injured during the battle of the LAJ. Since then, though, there has been no news about him, while there are rumors that someone who resembles him and was apparently a member of a remote medical volunteer organization was spotted. The truth about that is uncertain. At any rate, I personally hope that he is still treating patients and saving lives today. Oh, really? Voider. How's he doing? Well, Voider is a natural-born architect given his work on the LAJ and on the Blue Wing. He also had a hidden aptitude for flying a plane. Robin, his former place of employment, ceased operations, and his role as our pilot back then has also ended. Seeing how he would have difficulties finding a new job, I decided to invite him to work in the government. I asked him whether he desired to create things or to fly a plane. He replied that he would love to be close to the sky. The government highly approved of the Blue Wing's efficiency as a transport plane. As a result, the Blue Wing was officially designated as the main transport plane for the Frezite Garden. Voider naturally became the main pilot of Blue Wing, and today he still flies the pilot in the blue sky. When I had the chance to speak to him the other day, though, he remarked on how he missed the working environment of a research facility. I would say he certainly is one with great vitality. Gerald. Is that one of the Lena? Yep, the pilots for the Roanoke. Ninetta. I hope I pronounced that right. That Troy. Ninetta was like the assistant at the front desk. With the eradication of the Gaia cancers, the role of the OHG ended. However, I felt that it would pretty much be a waste to let the OHG be dissolved just like that. Thus, I proposed that Cheryl, Lena, Ninetta, and Troy on merging the OHG with the government. I would be lying if I say that they did not feel awkward about my proposal at first. After all, the government's impression of the OHG was still not very good back then. But I assured them that I would personally ensure peace and harmony between the two sides with no discrimination whatsoever. They accepted my proposal without hesitation. I actually blushed for making such a bold statement. The OHG became part of the government and now operates as Rufford branch of the Frezite Army Corps. Of course, those 4 original members still remain. Gerald and Lena continued to work as telecommunication operators and also lead the branch's intelligence support team. Ninetta continues to work as a receptionist responsible for seeing out soldiers and awaiting their return, as well as receiving guests. And Troy, being Dolan's successor, is currently building on Dolan's research on remedies for DSHIS, which Dolan used to produce for Edwin. Everything has turned out perfectly for him, and he has even talked about transferring to one of the Frezite Garden's specialized departments. However, he tends to do things at his own pace, while being aloof from the world. Even the Frezite Garden's main management is not really interested in hiring him. And above all, it would seem that he has yet to get word of that. I have actually thought about telling him about the hard truth when I have the chance, but then again, it is only a matter of time before he learns the truth for himself, and comes back to reality anyway. I figured it would be better just to leave him be and let nature take its course. Alright, who's next? Hasan. So, I can take it that you will stay. Yes. Good, thank goodness. When you suddenly announced that you were leaving, I really didn't know how I would cope without you. But is this fine with you? Didn't you say there is some place you need to go to? Well, yes, I did. I had planned it to go, but was then denied by them. Denied? By them? They said I have a path of my own to walk down. Are they? You speak of your acquaintances. Well, I have no memories of them. But I could sense that I am very close to them. Excuse me, I'm gonna drink some water. Those 4 are my most precious companions in the world. What are you saying? To think you would still remain as loyal as ever. Well, it is true that all 5 of us would be reunited if you were to join us, but we cannot allow that. There are people by your side who need you, aren't there? In that case, there is only one role for you. Stay by their side and take care of them, just like how you once took care of us. Even if there is no blood in you, and even if you are a magical doll, you are, without a doubt, a wonderful father. You bring happiness to those children, and are irreplaceable. Thus, here is my final order as your first mistress. Instead of reaching out for us, who have already departed, reach out for the children who still have a bright future ahead and embrace them. Farewell, my beloved companions. May we meet again in your next lives. Alright. Next on. Maximum. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. Oh wow, that's a... Okay, never mind. I was about to say, that's a really small church. Whew, finally, it's completed. I apologize that you have to help me with the construction for so long. Don't sweat it, mate. In fact, by calling me to help you out, you actually saved me from my crisis. Even though it was hard work rebuilding the church, I got to have 3 meals a day, and even lounging in return. I guess this is what one would call a treat from heaven. I think you mean mana from heaven. Or manna from heaven. Ah, I can't pronounce that. Oh, my bad. But well, it does not matter either way. After the angelic children turned into devils, my fellow priest and I have come to the conclusion that God did not exist. Consequently, we burned the church down. However, it turned out we were misguided all along. It does not matter who God is or whether or not God exists. Then what matters? It is the image of God that we people picture him as. God is not a real being, but a symbol. So that's why he decided to rebuild the church. When I first heard about it, I thought you were digging yourself into a hole again. There is a significance behind the course of this construction. It is to break away from the past, leave it behind, and move on. It has also made me a stronger person. That aside, there sure are a lot of flowers here. Of course. If there were only a few of them, do you think the children up in the distant heavens would be able to see them? Good point. There is no doubt one of the best places to be at. Or, this is no doubt one of the best places to be at, if not the best. My children, do you see these flowers? Aren't they beautiful? Alright, who are you gonna see next? Minerva. Foxy. Long time no see. Indeed, it is. Well, let's get down to business first. Have you found a good location? Yeah, I think I'll go with that building. Not to mention it is close to the main city, but it's also pretty spacious and in decent condition. So that's settled then. But are you sure about setting up a dance school here at Chaos? Well, I believe one of the reasons why the people here tend to fall into the dark side is because there is nothing to push them forward. And there is no place at Chaos to provide just that. Thus, by setting up a dance school here, and getting at least a person to join and becoming passionately devoted to dancing, it should help bring great positivism here. Besides, this dance school will be open to everyone, including people from outside here. And so I hope that dancing can help bring the people of Chaos and the people of Envy together and foster better ties between them. Chaos is, after all, part of Envy to begin with. Well, that naturally doesn't mean that things will go smoothly at first, so guards will have to be stationed around the school for the time being. Then, why dance school of all things? Well, it just so happens that you, my very close friend, are an expert in dancing. Even though you have parted ways with dancing for a long time, your passion for dancing still exists. I picture you as one who can truly shine as a dancer. My, you really like doing things your own way, don't you? But it's clear that you know about the wonders of dancing, right? Well, I guess. Can you be the head instructor of this dance school? Is that an order from the Queen? No. It's a hope of mine. Sure, I'll be glad to. Thank you, Foxy. There's another thing. There's someone who would like to meet you. While this project will be mainly funded by the government, there is someone who privately donated a fairly large sum of money for this project. Well, that's pretty commendable of that person, to think he would contribute so much for this risky project. You'll be the head instructor of this dance school from today onwards, so how about meeting him once in person to thank him? I have an idea who it could be. Sure, I don't mind. Is he here today? Yes. He is now waiting outside. I'll call him in. You look as great as ever, Elizabeth. You're the officer from back then. Yep, I figured that would be the case. So you're the one who donated the money. I believe I told you before that I had a tad too much money to finish spending for my remaining years. Didn't I? After hearing that you will be the head instructor of this dance school, I donated all that excessive money to this project without hesitation. At first, I thought of spending that money to adopt you as my child. I suppose this will do as well. From now on, you will no doubt shine brighter than ever before. What have you done? You shouldn't have put that money. You shouldn't have put that money into this unpredictable project in this dirty district. Instead, you should have kept it for yourself and lived your remaining years in luxury. Well, I spent half my life working as a security officer here. No matter how dirty this district may be, the fact is that I have grown up to appreciate it. Also, since you will be living in that building, it is all the more that I give you my fullest support. Are you sure about this, though? Since you were a long-served security officer here, you should know just how influential and valuable money is, right? Well, yes, I do. A person should always pay attention to how he or she uses his or her money. Then why? This project is worth putting my money into. Even if I had the money to buy an unlimited number of diamonds, I would rather put my money into this project than to spend it on them. That is just how valuable I believe this project is. I give up. I can never win you in an argument. Can I ask what your name is? My name is Harry. I see. Excuse me. Thank you, Harry. You are most welcome, Elizabeth. Please, call me Foxy instead. I have, after all, lived this district under that name, and it will remain so all the way. Understand? But let me rephrase my words. You are most welcome, Foxy, or shall I say, Instructor Foxy. That surprisingly has a nice ring to it. Don't you think so, Minerva? Alright, who else is left? There's Doris and Yancy. as well as Lancerd, Yingzi, Doris. Minchum, I have something important to tell you today. I will be leaving here very soon. Doris has decided to return to the academy, and so she and I will be staying together at the royal capital of Minerva. I have already discussed with the headmaster and the counselors of the academy that Doris needs me as her pillar of support. I don't know when I'll be back, but at the very least I decided to live with Doris until she finishes her studies. I haven't planned what to do beyond that, though. Will you see me off? Will you give me your warm blessings and wish me the very best in my future endeavors, seeing that I will be leaving you all alone here? Don't worry, big sister. She will see you off. Big sister always told me not to brood over the past. Even big sister's master said that. You're right. I forgot about it again. That reminds me, my master once also said that the deed's greatest misfortune is to become the chains bound to the living. Hence, people should let the spirits live freely in the heavens and live their own free lives on the lands. Only then can the living and the dead be in peace. See you again sometime, Minchum. This has been one hell of a long epilogue. Let's go. And let's do our best together, Doris. Yes, big sister. Lancerd. Playena. Virgini. Interesting. You're terribly late. Did you go visit Yangtze? Yeah, and Doris too. Well, if you're so worried about them, you should just stayed with them and not go on another vagabond journey like this. Sorry, but it's not my nature to stay put in one place. Besides, they'll soon be moving to the royal capital of Minerva since Doris has decided to return to the academy. They'll be much safer there. To think you would choose to return to this unpleasant, dangerous lifestyle when you deserve better. Notifications. It's as if you can't do without challenges. I find it hard to understand you, really. Well, didn't you decide to get out of your comfort zone by turning against George? I did that purely out of hatred. It wasn't to seek a new challenge or anything like that. At any rate, you can't compare your circumstances to mine. That being said, are you sure you don't want to stay with them and support them? The thing is, Yangtze will likely have problems adjusting herself to life in a foreign world. She'll have the burden of taking care of herself and Doris. Nah, she won't have any problem. After all, she's always engrossed with training her body and mind day after day. Well then again, there's the fact that she had been harboring regret for the loss of her old friend until recently. I can tell that you're kind at heart. I am? Yes. From what I heard of the story of your father, I can see that you were afraid of becoming a hitman like him. Yeah, I refuse to be like him. I hate him for the fact that he always said that it's wrong to kill people, and contradictorily killed people for a living. I'm a little spooked because my lights kind of went dim for a little bit. I don't know if that's just my light bulb dying on me or not, but I'm going to stop the recording and start a new recording or whatnot, so this might look weird editing or whatever. Alright, there we go. Starting a new recording. What does that have to do with me being kind? Imagine if I lose power and have to go through all of that battle and dialogue again. Holy shit. The fact that you're not willing to kill people is exactly what makes you kind. And that might well be what your father intended to instill into you right from the start. You might have felt that you were too innocent to be living the life of a hitman like him. And the more people he killed, the greater his fears about you grew. That was why he tried to distance you from killing people. He didn't want you to follow in his footsteps. Maybe. Now then, it's time for another coin toss. Where shall we go tomorrow? East or west? You decide. Now, it'll be a problem if you're always leave everything to me. You have to take the initiative once in a while. Then, instead of east or west, let's go for the ground or Frezite. I choose tails for Frezite. I stayed on the ground for far too long. Nice. See? I know you can come up with something. Then, I'll now toss the coin. Frezite it is. Not bad. I've been curious. What is it? That coin, which you've always used for all the coin tosses, doesn't look familiar to me. Is it an antique or something? Why, yes. It is roughly a 2,000-year-old pure gold coin. What? I found out from a pawn shop some time ago that the coin fetches a pretty high price. Where did you get it? It was another farewell gift from George. Man, you're just like most of the bold women I met. Well, what if I say you should start seeking things for yourself as well? Yeah, I'll think about it. Alright. There goes to my interesting... I want to say most favorite. I mean, Lancer probably might be my favorite male character. Elena. I don't know. I'll give my opinions after everything is all said and done. On my favorite characters and whatnot. And final thoughts on the game after this epilogue is done. How about taking a rest once in a while? Taking a rest once you are done there. Yes, I will. I am just about to finish sweeping here. You should take a rest as well, Madam Elena. No, I cannot do that. Foyder will be here very soon to pick me up. Foyder? I have to take this time to do a little more editing before he comes. These notes are for the seminar sponsored by the DLG Law Support Group, right? Yes. I'll be attending the Learning About Childcare seminar to be held at the Frezite Garden. And since I am invited to be one of the speakers, I have to be fully prepared for it. You'll do just fine, Madam Elena. After all, you managed this orphanage for a long time and have raised many children in the process. That is why it is all the more that I have to be well prepared. Since the audience will know me as a person with a lot of experience in childcare, I will have to live up to their expectations of me. Okay, this should do it. Are you done? Yes, pretty much. Once I arrive at the Frezite Garden, I will check through my notes one last time before the rehearsal begins. The actual event will be held tomorrow. Also, since I'll be on duty for the weekly offerings for the grave the day after the seminar, I will return here tomorrow night. So until then, please help to take care of the children. I've already told everyone in town about my leave of absence from here, so feel free to approach any of them if you need any assistance. You can leave this place to me. Please do your best, Madam Elena. Although the rate of outbreak of DSHIS has been decreasing since 2 years ago, the shadow of DSHIS can never disappear altogether. Hence, I hope that your speech will inspire courage in the audience. Water again. Damn it, this thing's closed. Alright, there we go. Ran out of water to drink, so my voice is gonna be rather fucking dry. Indeed. I'll make sure to give it my all. I'm here, Mother Elena. You're ready to go, aren't you? I certainly am. Take me there. That's heartening to hear. The audience will no doubt be looking forward to hearing your speech. Yes. With my spiritual connection with Lake and Vene, I feel I can do anything.